This episode of the Boss Rush Podcast is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support our family of podcasts, head over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia or search for us on the Patreon app on your smart device. Thanks for helping us build something better. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Dirrig, and alongside me, as always, is the PC muscle race himself, LeRon Dawkins, stuffing his face.
Yes, I am. And Happy New Year. And what's poppin'?
New year, new treats. That's what I say, right?
Yeah. Is it seems like the same. It seems like the same. I got like a bag of Cheeto Puffs and a bag of chili cheese Fritos. So yeah. And I've got ice cold Dr. Pepper in the Yeti mug.
Speaking of doctors, also joining us is the mad pharmacist herself, Stephanie Klimov.
Help! I need a doctor. I think I am starting to have sciatica pain, by the way. That's how I'm bringing in the new year.
You need to stretch more, girl.
Dude, I was running, and by the end, I felt like this really sharp pinch in the back of my ass, and I think that's where the sciatica starts. I'm like, fuck. All right, so this is where we're going. Okay, 2023, I see you.
Yeah. And then you'll wake up the next morning, and you have a shooting pain going all the way down from your hip, all the way down into your ankle.
Yay!
That's normal.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. Happy to be here. So, guys, I'm really excited because I took 2 weeks off. Well, I did. I played a lot of games.
I'm glad you played games.
Yeah. But now I'm stressed out because I got a lot of other stuff to do. But it's okay. But what I am excited for is, you know how everybody's always saying, slow down. Boy, do we have some new content. Exciting new things for you. I'm very excited. Very, very excited. Probably not going to start till February or March because we got a little bit delayed because we all took breaks, which is good. Everybody needs to take a break. Mm-hmm. But Stephanie, Boss Rush Book Club.
Yes, it's gonna happen. And it's going to be a big year for it. I'm very excited. We're in the middle of brainstorming the games that we will be playing and discussing.
Yeah, very excited for that. Very excited for a Nintendo PAL Block expansion pass revamp. Very excited for that. Very excited for just a lot of things. I know we've been talking about our old retro show, Standard Def. We're kind of retooling the retro angle, and Stoy, I think, is going to do some retro stuff for us once a month, which I'm very excited about. So I'm going to talk to him about it. Just a lot of things, a lot of cool things. Kind of bringing back that Boss Rush Presents label as like an over, whatever you want to call it, umbrella thing. Very excited. The thing is now I have to make graphics and stuff for all this, but it's okay. It's going to be great.
You like doing that kind of stuff.
I do. That's what I think. That's like 80% of the reason why I start new things is so I can just make graphics for it.
And you do a darn good job too.
So,
anyways, you need to teach me how to make graphics so I can stop relying on you to make the shit for Crossroads.
Yeah, your intro is processing, by the way, LeRon.
Oh, cool.
Your Crossroads.
I was not mentioning that just to like try and like push you to say into like. Mm-hmm. No, I for real. I think that's the thing I'm going to learn this year: how to make my own stuff like that. So I don't have to like either like wait for people to do it, or I have to like go on the internet and download assets that like I can't make any modifications or adjustments to.
Yeah, well, I'm always here, LeRon.
Yeah, and I don't want to wear you out. That's the thing.
It's okay. New year, new time limits on things.
No, you're not gonna be all pissed off and upset at me by December of 2023 because I've been leaning on you for a whole bunch of shit. No.
When have I ever been mad at you, LeRon?
You haven't, but there's a part of me that always wonders, am I inconveniencing people? And I don't like doing that.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just, sitting around waiting to do stuff, So.
You say it like that, then.
Also, a few other changes this year, just real quick. We're pre-recording some Patreon type things so we can spend more time talking about stuff without interrupting the flow of the show. Very, very excited about that too, sort of. So yeah. Anyways, if you do want to support us, you can go to patreon.com/bossrushmedia. It would really help us out. If not, it's fine. We have a big show, guys. Do we want to talk about what we've been playing, or do we just want to jump right into our game of the year discussion?
I can go either way.
Yeah. If we don't, I at least want to show off what I got in the mail the last few days.
Do it.
So, I mean, you might have seen at least one of them. So the first, I finally, after everyone played the game, but I got the VHS edition of Shredder's Revenge from Limited Run.
Good Lord.
And I got one of their cards, I guess, that goes with it. So I'm very excited. I'm like, I don't know if I want to open it. Maybe I'll just buy another copy. But
you don't want to open it. Don't open it.
Okay. And then
open it.
Stop playing with my emotions.
If you open it, record it so we can put it on the YouTube channel.
Okay.
That's the other thing. Oh, never mind. Keep going. Sorry.
Oh, you mean like openings? Okay.
No,
okay.
Keep going. Keep going.
Trek to Yomi. I haven't played it yet, but I got, I just wanted to get Special Reserve. They do a lot of Devolver publications, so I just got the Trek to Yomi.
I was going to say, that sounds like a Devolver game.
Yeah, it's, another samurai game, but it looked cool, So that's what I had to show off.
Cool.
I didn't, play anything unique. I just played like a lot of catch-up stuff. Played Pokemon, played a little bit of Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. I played God of War 2018 because I insist on finishing it so I can play Ragnarok.
I am trying to finish Ragnarok. It's like every time I'm like really getting into it, it like switches gears on you, and it's like, man, I just want to go back to the other thing. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't played it yet, but like, man,
yeah. So that's it. Short and sweet.
I just want to play the one way, and then it keeps shifting ways that you play, and I'm like, stop. Stop. To the point where I was like, I play for like 45 minutes to an hour, and I'm like, I want to play something else because I'm not playing this game, So, anyways, that was my rant about God of War Ragnarok.
That's all right. You bought me enough time to remember one more thing. I got the book, The Art of Death Stranding. It's a very good art book. Holy crap.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
So, just collecting more shit for my room.
Cool. I like that.
I feel like I should start getting ready to make a collection.
It's a slippery
your room's
slope.
too clean, LeRon.
I know.
My room is too clean. I try to not have a lot of clutter, honestly. This was why I haven't really done like collectibles in over. I feel like I haven't really done like collectibles in over 15 years. Yeah, like I kind of want something like that, like I feel like the next time I move, I really need to have a space designated to myself to where I can like do like, like have like the shit like there, like, cause the next place I move to, like my office is going to move out of my room. Like I'm not going to have a computer desk in my room. I'm not going to have my computer in my room and stuff like that. Of course, I will have things in place so it feels like my computer's in my room, but I will no longer have a computer desk and all that stuff in my room. I want to have my room opened up a lot more, and just be able to live in my room and not just reside in my room.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah. Stephanie, you playing anything else?
That was kind of it. Like I said, I was just playing a lot of catch up on some remaining games. Also caught up a little bit more on Legend of Tian Ding. What I'm going to be starting, I don't have my Steam Deck. It's charging in the other room. There were a couple games that were on sale. Do I want to go up and get it? I can go online.
Speaking of Steam Decks,
Yeah.
Speaking of Steam Decks, I I really want a Steam Deck, but I think I'm going to wait for version 2.
Yeah, just wait at this point, because
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna check Marketplace and see if anyone's. No, I don't trust. I don't trust a pre-owned handheld. I do not.
Especially a Steam Deck, one that you can like. It's kind of open to do whatever
Yeah,
you want with it, right?
they probably just brick the fuck out of it.
let's see, where can I find where my existing games are? Because I'm an idiot and I don't know where my
Your
shit
library,
is.
your Steam library.
View profile. Well, like it's different when I'm on the website versus on my Steam Deck. Damn it.
Just go get your Steam Deck. I can talk to LeRon, or we can
All right,
sit
go
in
talk to LeRon.
silence. We can sit in silence while he sips his DP.
No. Why do you say it like that?
I don't know.
Save it for the adult show. Jeez.
I know. I have a story for After Dark, by the way.
Good.
No, it's a quick one, but there is one.
Okay, and I wanted to get it because I didn't want to fuck up the names. So the first one's called Lonesome Village. It's by Ogre Pixel. It's a very much an indie game, and you play as a fox. It looks like a much scaled down version of Tunic. I don't think there's actual combat though, but it just it's like almost like a 2D Zelda-ish type of game, but I don't know yet. But I've been following them on their Discord, and it seemed like a great community and a fun game, and it was on sale. So I messaged them in Discord, like, "Hey, is this Steam Deck compatible? Because there's no information on the Steam Deck." And they said, "Yes. There might be some issues with cutscenes." I'm like, "Hey, as long as it's playable, I'll support you and buy it." So I'm going to start Lonesome Village. I was hoping to start it by tonight to talk about it, but shit hit the fan at work as usual. And the other one that I bought that I will be playing and was on sale, it's called X Zodiac. So X Zodiac, I heard from an indie website. I think it's early access only, but it literally pays homage to like Star Fox. If you look it up, X Zodiac, EX Zodiac, it looks like a polygonal just copy love letter to Star Fox. Like, check it out. It looks so much fun. I can't wait to play it.
Nice.
Now I'm
Nice.
done.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was cool actually.
Right? Yeah. I heard about it and got the notification that early access is available. So
Nice.
yeah. But LeRon, I heard you were playing Callisto. I don't know if you actually beaten the game, but you're playing some Monster
I heard we're
Hunter.
supposed to blame someone.
Yeah.
I still haven't beaten Callisto Protocol. Like I inch closer and closer
LeRon.
to it. But I will admit, because I admit this last night to the guys on Crossroads, and of course they gave me sheer hell about it. The game, I finally hit my saturation point where the game is actually like starting to unnerve me. And I think it's because of the game's pacing. Like they do things in Callisto Protocol that basically slows down because like I've heard that you can beat the game in under 11 hours.
Okay.
So I don't know what the hell's taking me so long because I've had the game since I've literally had the game for a month now because it came out like on December 3rd. Yeah. So, but yeah, like I've gotten to a point where like, like the creeps and the crawls and all that stuff is really starting to get to me. And also playing the game in with ray trace effects on and HDR and stuff like that. I'm going to share this story with you.
I'm going to share this story with you.
Sometimes when you're walking down a hallway, because the way ray tracing works, ray tracing is supposed to basically simulate what actual light is supposed to be. So just think about how when you walk in a room and the lights and you have a light source, like you've got your shadows, you've got your beams of light and all this stuff. So just imagine you're playing a creepy game where like things can just jump out everywhere or stuff can just run at you and stuff like that. Imagine you're playing a game where your source of light is behind your character. So as you're walking down a hall, you see your shadow cast on a wall.
Mm.
So just imagine how unnerved real fast you can get when you're sitting there thinking that your shadow is something that's about to attack you.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. But this is a new experience for me because it's the first survival horror game I played that actually has something like that implements it's the first survival horror game. I played mini games that have ray tracing and stuff on, but this is the first survival horror game I played with ray tracing on, and it's a new experience for me. And I gotta say, it's a little exhilarating, but also it's fucking with me.
Listen, Ron, listen, you have to have this finished soon because what's coming out
Yeah,
this month?
Dead Space comes out in 23 days.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
the exact amount of time you have to finish.
Yep. Yep. If I actually, I just need to sit down and if I just sit down for like one, maybe 2 nights, it'll be done. Because I'm so close to the end anyway.
Are you
I've been
recording it?
no.
Mm,
No.
mm. Okay.
Well, we don't want to jinx it
I'm not
because when
actually I'm
LeRon
not
was
gonna
streaming Dead Space, how far did you get, LeRon?
chapter 8.
Mhm.
Chapter 8 out of
Hmm.
chapter 8 out of 12 chapters, so that's not bad.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. Off to a great start, LeRon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great start.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't even finish out 2022 by beating a game. I couldn't even do it.
That's.
Do
I
do
mean,
either of you guys feel weird? Not weird. I don't know what the right adjective is. Like, how do you guys feel when you see posting? Oh, I beat 28 games this year,
oh my
or
gosh, it rattles my brain how certain people just have. I don't understand. I
I know.
don't get it.
I
I mean,
feel so small.
I get that I'm an anomaly and I only beat 2 games last year, which is fine. But like people are like beating 40, 50 games in a
Yeah.
year. I'm
I
like, what do
know,
you
I know.
do?
Like, is gaming their 24/7 hobby? Because I feel like gaming is a hobby for me, but it's not a hobby that like takes up all of my spare time. Like, do
Oh
you
my
hang out with
gosh.
friends? You know,
I mean,
do
I don't
you
have any
take care of
friends.
your
I'm not
wife?
worried about that. I just like I would like to beat 5 games this year, maybe.
I
That's a
think I can
goal.
beat 5 games this year. I think I can.
I could, but I found some new
Actually,
obsessions and Destiny is always an obsession.
Mm.
see, that's the thing about it. Like Monster Hunter takes up so much of my Monster Hunter took up so much of my gaming time last year. Like I showed Mark my Steam Wrapped,
Mhm.
and man, 87% of my total playtime was with Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak. Um,
Wow.
and a whopping 3% went to Callisto Protocol because it was the next game that I was playing like in a super hard fashion. You know.
If it makes you feel better, my Xbox statistics, 91% of my time on Xbox was Destiny. So
Uh,
Well, I mean, when we look at it from a different lens, it doesn't matter as long as you're having a good time. But just when I see
that's
people post that kind of shit, I'm like, haha, 40
I
games?
know.
Well, I beat like 2 or 3.
I
So,
know.
you know what, that's what I said last night on Crossroads. I'm like, you know what? If you're playing a game and you're getting the most joy and satisfaction out of that game, fuck what everybody else is doing. You
yeah.
know, like, hey, because no, I'm not gonna be that elitist that is like, yeah, they beat 40 games, or they can have they memorized the plot for all 40 of those games. I could do some bullshit like that. Where but I'm not, because like that's kind of a it's kind of that's kind of a really snobby way of doing it. Like people do things that they can do in their own time. If you got time to beat 40 games in a year, like I salute you. I do.
Do it,
I do.
Laron. Do it.
Do
I
it.
do, because like
Do it.
shit, like
Do it.
there are days when I wonder when I can beat one game, because as long as like a Monster Hunter game's out and they're putting out content, I'm going to be playing.
Mhm.
Here's the thing. I'm so close on like 4 or 5 different games that I could just beat. Like Link's Awakening, I've been on the 7th dungeon out of 8 dungeons for like 6 months and I just haven't gone back to
Dude,
finish it.
I so need to finish that game.
Mm.
Yeah. But like LeRon, if you're done talking about what you've been playing,
Mhm.
I have a couple games that I've been playing. So I actually played a lot over break. I've played a little bit of a lot of games over break. I uh I played Crisis Core, which is very good. I love the combat in that game. Uh the other Final Fantasy game that came out earlier this year that I forget, Strangers of Paradise, the Chaos game, which combat also very good in that game. Uh but I really haven't talked about my PlayStation 5 yet on the show, even though I got it 3 weeks ago at this point. I played God of War, which I like. Not going to waste a lot of time talking about how I feel about that game on here, but like I don't know if I like it. I'm just invested in Kratos' story at this point because I've been invested in it for 20 years and I just want to see it through to the end. Which I don't know if they set it up to where Kratos is in the next one or not. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. But I like playing the game and I like playing as Kratos. It just feels like in my 15 hours, I either am not playing or not playing as Kratos for at least half of it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, just let me play. But
wait, let me ask you a question, because you know what? I feel like we're experiencing the Metal Gear Solid 2 paradox again, where
no, it's
where
not that.
people
It's not that at all.
it's not that okay.
No, they're just telling a story that requires other characters to be involved.
Okay.
I played a lot of Fortnite with my nephews this over break, and it was really fun because we played no build mode and it actually felt like a real game. I played a lot of Destiny, which this season I'm not super into the event stuff, but the story is super compelling. So I keep playing it because I do. But I also played some Elden Ring. That sure is an open world Dark Souls game.
Oh, okay.
That's sure is an open world Dark Souls game. LeRon, you're raising your hand. Do you have something to say?
I was going to say, why is his screen moving up and down?
Yeah. Oh well, that's another thing we told ourselves we are going to do on Crossroads. For this year, we're going to try our best not to just like break across and interrupt people.
Good luck with that.
I want to ask you because the Diggity Boys were talking about it, were raving about it on their most recent episode about the no build mode on Fortnite. They loved it. And they said it felt like a completely different game, but at the same time, like it was the most exciting thing they could have done to Fortnite.
Well, what I was reading, I knew the no build mode has been in it for a while, but when they implemented the Unreal Engine 5 update to Fortnite, they cleaned up the shooting mechanics, and it actually feels a lot more like something like Gears of War Outriders now, and less kind of flimsy and whatever, and it feels really good to play. And so, I'm not like off playing it by myself or anything. I like to play it when my nephews are over, but it's fun, and I got my first victory royale. So I did
Victory Royale.
Cool.
See, I don't know.
Dance.
I don't know shit about Fortnite. So
Victory Royale, I just won a match, which is apparently not hard for my nephews to do, but Also, I felt really old because my nephew called me a Fortnite OG because
a Fortnite OG
because I have some of the old stuff, like the stuff from like the very first whatever chapter, season, whatever they're calling it. He's like, whoa, you have that dance, you have that skin, you're an OG. I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm an OG. So, and then the last game, which I'll probably talk a lot about during our top 10. So I got really into Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Hey.
And it's basically Disney Animal Crossing. And I was looking for something that my daughter might be interested in. And I knew this was like kind of like one of those games, but I didn't know it was like basically Animal Crossing. So I downloaded it and I let my daughter create herself or a version of herself on the game. And so we played it for a while and she was just like, and she wasn't really into it because she wanted to go hang out with the characters. She didn't want to do any of like the crafting and building and stuff. I'm like, well, we got to do this before that. She just lost interest. But then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do some of the crafting and building stuff and just at least get some of the characters that she would be interested in so we can play together. And then
Mhm.
I've put 15 hours into this game in like a week
40
and a half.
years later.
Right.
And, yeah, I'm like totally obsessed with it right now. So it's on Game Pass and also on Switch. And also the cool thing is like there's a cloud save that I can transfer between my Switch and my Xbox.
That's good.
So like,
That's nice.
yeah, it's super nice. Although it runs great on Xbox Series X. It runs not great on the Switch, but
Surprise.
it's fine. Also still in early access technically, but you know, anyways, super. I'm really obsessed with that game though. It's so good.
It did pique my interest just because I love Disney, and to be able to, it's kind of like how Kingdom Hearts is like a very fantasy-ified version of Disney, like they took it and ran with it,
Hmm.
Here it's like more on Disney heavy. I don't know where I'm trying to get at, but just living amongst the Disney people, I was very excited about. But then I don't know, I get very turned off by free-to-play games.
Yeah. Well, the thing is like they don't let you buy the currency yet, which is weird. But if you get like one of the deluxe versions, they give you a bunch of the in-game currency, but you can't buy it yet and you can't spend it on anything yet.
Okay.
So I don't know how that comes into play. You probably just buy like resources and stuff, right? I mean, I'm sure, or cosmetic stuff like outfits and stuff. I'm sure. Uh, but I did the entire Christmas event in like less than a week, and it's up for 2 months. So
Nice.
it's up until Valentine's Day. So yeah. Anyways, that's what I've been playing. Oh,
That's awesome.
I also played the first like 2 hours of Horizon Forbidden West, 3 hours of Horizon. And it's it's incredible. I wish I played more of it for Game of the Year discussion stuff because I'm pretty sure it would have been my Game of the Year.
Aw.
It's incredibly beautiful. It's got the best in-game animations of any game I've ever seen, between like just plain walking animations, facial animations, the expressions they make when they talk. Like
Mhm.
I I forget that I'm playing a game, like it's the best animation I've ever seen. So uh yeah, I'm going to be playing a lot of that probably over the next month. I want to beat God of War before I play this, because if I go to this, I will not go back to God of War.
Mhm. Yeah.
So uh, it was just part of my I have 2 weeks. Let's try to play everything so I have something to talk about during Game of the Year. Because
Oh,
I was
you made
I
use of
was
your
really
time.
I was really afraid I wasn't going to have anything to talk about during Game of the Year, and I'm glad I did. So. And I tried High on Life too, which was fine. Um, if you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support. Well, it's that time. It's that time. It's Game of the Year time.
I was like, is that time for my kid to beat the snot out of me just now?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's Game of the Year time. One real quick note for Game of the Year 2023, LeRon and I and various members of the Boss Rush team are going to try really, really hard to present the Bossies like a Game Award show this year.
Yeah.
This is the last year we're doing it like this. We are really, really going to pull some stuff together and do some really cool stuff next year. I have my whole setup here set up to record everything that I play, regardless if I'm streaming or putting it on YouTube or not. just so we have footage of everything.
Mhm.
LeRon, I think you're going to do not everything, but a lot of the stuff that you play too this year.
Yeah.
And then we'll like for games that we don't play, or for people who are involved and don't have the right equipment to record or stream stuff, we're gonna have trailers and try to get some footage of those games too. But man, I'm actually like really excited for that this year. I know it's going to be like a whole year until we get to present it to people, but I think it's going to be super fun. And yeah, but until then, until 2024, we're going to present our. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do some honorable mentions, and then we're going to go round robin for top 10 games of the year, and then we're going to pick our 5 most anticipated games of next year.
So I have a question.
You mean of this year?
That's what I said. That's what I meant. This year.
Okay. Okay. Well, the good news is I kind of have a list already because we did the most anticipated last night for Crossroads, and I still have my list up here. So
What were you going to say, Stephanie?
Sorry. I kind of made a quasi list because there were, as I mentioned earlier, I haven't had a chance to play all the games, so I kind of have a big list, kind of split in two, of the top games that I've played in the top 10 games that I know deserve to be in top 10, but I just unfortunately haven't played it. So, like, should I just do those as my honorable mentions, or still rank them even if I haven't played them? Like, what?
You
How
do whatever you feel like you want to do, Stephanie. We're not here to
Okay,
judge. We're only here to
that just
judge.
confuses me more.
Uh,
Sorry, I'll figure it out.
we're not here to judge you. We're here to judge the games.
Gotcha.
So, all right. Well, I'm going to go first, I think, because why not? So I have some honorable mentions. First of all, I want to shout out the amazing retro ports that came out this year. The Atari 50 Anniversary Collection, the Cowabunga Collection, Tactics Ogre Reborn. These are some amazing retro kind of ports and updates, and especially the Cowabunga Collection and the Atari 50 Collection from Digital Eclipse. Like their presentation and their attention to detail for these classic games and updating them. And the Cowabunga Collection just got online play for every single game now, so that's very exciting. On the Switch version of that, you can play with the controllers if you have them. So, like, if you want to play Turtles in Time, you can play with the Super Nintendo controller. If you want to play Hyperstone Heist, you can play with the Genesis controller. Shout out to Digital Eclipse in general. They just do really great stuff with classic games. Nier Automata, it came out on Switch this in 2022. Not really eligible for top 10, but it's probably my favorite game I played this year. I think I'm about halfway through it. They said it takes about 40 hours to beat, and I'm like 20. An amazing port, just a great game overall. Tunic. I'm far enough away from Death's Door to where I played a little bit of it and actually appreciate what it's doing now, instead of, Death's Door plays really fast and the combat's very kinetic, and once you start upgrading stuff, you just going from that to Tunic, it's just a different beast. So playing Tunic now gave me a greater appreciation for that. And then High on Life, an interesting comedy shooter on Game Pass. I don't know. It was one of those things that I was like, this could go either way. It could either be really funny or really just stupid and uninstall right away. And I found myself playing way more of it than I anticipated. It's not very long, but it's by the creator of Rick and Morty, so expect that kind of humor, I guess. I didn't think that humor would stick the landing for 8 to 10 hours, but so far, I'm not tired of it. Some of the jokes don't hit, but it doesn't mean they're bad. It's just,
Mhm.
those are my honorable mentions.
Yeah, Story had a lot of good things to say about High on Life. I don't know if I'll ever get around to it, but I do want to acknowledge that, the writing is extremely witty and people do seem to enjoy it.
Yeah. The whole premise of the game is that aliens are harvesting humans for drugs. Is the premise of the game.
That's fucked up, but
So
really hilarious.
yeah. So yeah.
Nice.
Who wants to go next?
Stephanie, go next.
Sure.
Stephanie wants to go next.
We're doing honorable mentions first, you said, right?
Yes.
So I've made the executive decision for me. My top quote unquote 10 lists are going to be games that I've played, not necessarily beat because I still have a very low number of that, but I want to at least say that I've played them because I felt like that's fair. So if anyone's out there listening, like, man, Steph's top 10 list is garbage. Like, why isn't X game on there? It's because I want to talk about the games that I've played, and I know that the ones that I haven't played that are definitely top 10, those will be my honorable mentions. So when I say Elden Ring, it is not because it's not a top 10 game, it's just because I personally have not played it, but I acknowledge and know it's probably one of the best games in the past few years. So don't be throwing hate at me. That's just how I'm structuring my list. So my honorable mentions, games that I have not played but I know are top 10 material, is obviously Elden Ring. I just haven't played it. I know you guys will probably talk about it. God of War Ragnarok, obviously, and you guys will talk about it. Horizon Forbidden West, you guys will talk about it. Plague Tale Requiem. And then last, I will get around to playing this, but I want to give a shout out to Return to Monkey Island because, they came back with a classic, even though people did not see, people just got their panties in a bunch about the art style, but I still felt like from what I've seen and heard that the game still delivered. And it's definitely made it on my to play in my backlog. So those are my honorable mentions. Again, not because they're inferior to my actual list, but because I have not played them.
Nice. Good list.
All right, cool. Okay, so I've got one, two, three. I've got four honorable mentions here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and preface it. Practically every game that I'm going to talk about tonight, whether it's honorable mention or whether it's in my top 10 of 2022, is most likely going to be games I didn't play. so just be aware of that. But I try to do this thing where I try to be objective about stuff, and I try to look at everything. I look at feedback from like the community, the gaming community, as well as what reviewers are saying, and I also look at what kind of like throws the stuff out there with me, as far as like when I watch gameplay videos and stuff like that, because I do watch gameplay videos. I'm one of those people who like to live vicariously through other gamers sometimes. So, for my honorable mentions, and these are in no specific order, so don't get all butthurt if the number 4 is not in your opinion as high as number 1, So don't get all butthurt about it. But here's looking at you, Roller Drome. Because apparently it's a sleeper hit and people need to play it more. And it was a day one release for PlayStation Plus, so there was that.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, wait, am I right?
I'm
Was it
pretty
day one?
sure it was. I mean, I'll fact check you, but I'm pretty confident it was.
Thank you. I believe it was a day one release because and that's the other thing too. Kudos to Sony. Because Sony did, even though Sony wasn't putting first party like games out on day one, like they delivered some day one hits, for PlayStation Plus for subscribers and stuff like that. Like Stray being one of those. Which Stray is on my list, is not in the honorable mentions, so we'll see where it falls at, in the top 10 of 2022. But also The Quarry. The Quarry was a very good game. I actually played some of that. I did not beat it, but I played some of that. It was a fun game. I do like narrative style games. Like anyone that knows me knows that I'd sink time into like games like Heavy Rain, Detroit Become Human. Of course, like one of the games I actually beat last year in 2022 was As Dusk Falls. So yeah. So and The Quarry if the Quarry did one thing well, it did the narrative experience. The interactive experience could have been a little bit better, but the narrative experience was great and stuff like that. Also, shout out to people are going to get mad at this one, but shout out to Cult of the Lamb.
Mm.
Like it's probably a fan favorite, across the internet and stuff like that. I will eventually play this game, but Cold and Lamb is good. I've heard, like, because I listened to the Boys in a Diggity podcast talking about it and stuff like that. Like, you can basically do everything in one playthrough and stuff like that. So it's one of those type of games where you can be a one and done and move on. Go on about your business. And lastly, my last honorable mention for this whole thing would be Bayonetta 3. Now,
Ooh.
I put Bayonetta 3 in the honorable mention category, even though we
I
know it did
see.
win some awards. Well, it won one award at the Game Awards. It is a good game. It is a good game. I will say that. I do have it. It's in my library. I have not turned it on. But my whole thing is, Bayonetta 3, I feel like could have been a more fantastic game if it came out on current generation hardware. I really
Mhm.
feel that way. Like, it sucks that like we're getting games that still look and play like PS3 and Xbox 360 games. Not saying that's a bad thing, but like we are what 15 years out from those consoles at this point now. So like, why do we have games? Why do
Longer
we
than
have
that.
triple A?
17.
Yeah, longer than that. Yeah, but so why do we have AAA titles looking like they are throwbacks from that era, and it's not technically a remake or a port? You know what I mean? So yeah, and also the whole fiasco with Helena. That kind of got under my skin. Like, like it's almost like the shit show that was with that movie Don't Worry Darling. Like, so I'm like, when there's like that type of bullshit going on, it really turns me off from looking at the product. And I'm not saying the guys at Platinum did anything wrong, because I feel like the brunt of this is more or less on Helena, than anything else. Like, she even tried to throw shade, she indirectly tried to throw shade at Jennifer Hale, when Jennifer Hale got the, basically picked up the reins and got and took over the part and stuff like that, because newsflash, like, like she works in the industry that does cinema movies, plays, all that stuff. She knows like if an actor falls out, the show's going to go on. So I don't know what she was thinking, and stuff like that. So some of that drama really hurt my enthusiasm for Bayonetta 3. Not saying I'm not going to play it because it's in my library. So there's that. Of course, I add more games to my library than I ever intend to play.
Don't we all?
So there we go.
Yeah.
Dude, between the games I've purchased, Game Pass, PlayStation Plus, and Switch Online, whatever, I can never buy another game the rest of my life and still not finish everything.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Seems pretty fair and similar to my situation.
So,
That's a very nice
oh,
list, Ron.
yeah.
Oh,
Chef
thanks.
kiss.
Thanks.
Good list. Great list. Okay, so my number 10 is God of War Ragnarok.
Gasp.
I think it's
Good
a
Lord.
beautiful game. I think it's fun to play when the game lets you play it. There are certain aspects that I don't like. I don't like Atreus still. Not gonna go into why, because this time it's spoiler territory, but like I I'm invested in the franchise. I like God of War 2 is like a top 10 game all time for me. And I just think this series is so great, and I'm glad it's doing well. I don't think God of War Ragnarok so far is as good as the last one. But it's fun to play. The combat's fun. Uh, it's man, I don't. I feel like I'm sounding too negative about on this game. Um, it's just really fun to play. I'm invested in the story. I don't think it's as good as the first one, but I think it is fun. I think it's worth playing. Uh, and yeah, I'm like 20 hours in at this point, and I'm interested to see where the story goes. Like I said earlier, something involving if something happens in this game where Kratos is not in the next one, I don't know if I'm going to pick the next one up right away. if it's going to be
It
like
can't
this, to be honest.
it can't be God of War if it doesn't have Kratos, because like Kratos is the bona fide God of War. You know,
That, I mean,
as far as this series goes, Kratos is the bona fide God of War, unless Atreus is going to become the God of War, which wouldn't make any sense because like Atreus is actually a
the god of,
representation of Loki.
yeah. Yeah. So, spoilers, LeRon. Just trying not to spoil the
They
game.
knew that
He
from
hasn't finished the first one.
if they played the first God of War. You know what? I haven't even played and beat the first God of War, but I knew that because let me take that
Just
back.
because it
I
was
haven't.
spoiled for you doesn't mean you have to spoil it for
No, no,
me,
no, no, stop.
Laron.
No, hold on. I'm sorry. I said I haven't played and beaten, but that is a lie because I did play the first God of War. I just did not beat the game. I was at the last freaking boss battle, basically, and I just didn't have the heart to finish it.
Hmm.
So I knew. So like when he's walking up and like, why do they keep calling me Loki? Like that was way before the end of the game.
Hmm. Hmm. Anyways, it's good. I don't know. At first I kind of felt myself being kind of disappointed in it at the beginning. But now that I'm in it, I'm like invested in, like I said before, and this is where I'll end it. I really enjoy playing the game when the game lets me play it. And I really enjoy playing as Kratos. And the chains make it feel a lot more like the original games than the axe. I know I'm in the minority, but I would rather play with the chains than the axe.
Oh my god, just get it over it, y'all. Y'all can't let something be different for.
I like the faster paced combat of the chains.
I feel like what I feel like gamers. I feel like gamers keep themselves from growing because like they don't want things to
It's not
change.
that I'm not growing. I prefer the faster combat of the chains than the
I understand.
slow, heavy combat of the axe.
I understand. I understand.
So, bleh. Stephanie, get me out of here. What's your number 10 game?
Okay, so I made a last minute
Oh, by the way, I'm sorry,
change,
not to interrupt. I'm keeping
change.
score here. We're doing our top 10 list, and we're going to see which game mathematically is our game of the year overall.
Oh, this is gonna be. Then I probably
So
like effed up.
everybody's 10th place game gets 1 point. Everybody's first place game gets 10 points, and then you can figure out the chart in between.
Well, then I just screwed everyone up by putting all the games that really deserve to be top 10 in my
No,
honorable
you didn't.
mentions just because I
What are
didn't
your
do
top
them.
10 games? Who cares?
All right. Well,
It's
okay.
not
This
about
one's
everybody else. It's about you, Stephanie.
all right. I'm gonna get groans from you and LeRon on this one as my number 10, and I did make a last minute change to include in my top 10 list because, as quirky and glitchy as it is, I feel like I do have an objective
It's a Pokemon
inclination. It is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It
game.
was it
Oh,
was
not the
not.
Pokemon game I thought you were going to pick.
No, but Pokemon appears on my list twice.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
No, but let me defend myself. First of all, Scarlet and Violet wasn't even on here. Two, it's not any of the other bajillion games that came out this year, not or last year. It's all come, all the years are coming together, like the stupid new Snap one or the brilliant Diamond Pearl crap. The reason why I decided to put Scarlet and Violet in here is again a lot of garbage glitches and stuff, and I don't want to necessarily draw the same correlation as Cyberpunk, but like Cyberpunk in essence is a great game. Just kind of the way it came out and glitchy, and I feel like people kind of need to, because people seem to drag Cyberpunk through the mud a bit, whereas I think Pokemon got a little bit more slack. I don't know, but anyway, but when you step back and take a look at what the Pokemon Company finally did, kind of, sort of. They tried the open world, they tried the several paths you can take. I wrote an editorial about how one of the three paths you can take, it's like called Starfall Street or something, which was like the most boring one to me. But when you really learn, even though it's an open world game, if you really want to effectively beat the game, so to speak, you really should be doing all three. So I started doing Starfall Street. Boring. I'm like, oh, there's just a bunch of punk ass kids trying to be cool with their flashy cars and shit, like all these Gen Zers or whatever. It's actually a story about bullying. These kids were all misfits, made fun of and bullied by other students because they were different. And they kind of got together to put an end and stand up to the bullies, which for a Pokemon game, I was actually really shocked that it was that deep.
Yeah, I don't know, like your overview on it. I read that.
Oh, thank you, LeRon. So yeah, so I'm not saying like, ooh, narrative of the year, but like I came into playing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet with a very low bar as far as a story is concerned. But I was pleasantly surprised of their approach to bullying. So that, and again, like, once I powered up the Miradon or whatever Don legendary Pokemon, I could literally climb up any cliff I wanted. I can swim wherever I swam. So, after how many iterations, how many Pokemon games they've released, I felt like this is the first like real stride in the right direction they've made in a very long time. Maybe the next game they come out, I'll probably pass. But I'm just saying, you know what? I do think it's worthy of at least mentioning and discussing. I still think a lot of their Pokemon are stupid, like the new ones, like the Wiglet and the stupid. Well, I don't know. Like, there's just a bunch that are still moronic. But I'm just talking about changes in gameplay that after all these years, they're finally going in a direction. So.
Hopefully they go in a better executed direction with their next game.
Exactly. They just need to now execute it better and maybe just stick with some of the older Pokemon and not make up stupid ones like that look like a keychain or a water dick. Like, just stop. Stop making these stupid things. Or a giraffe with a head
Well,
coming out of its ass. Like, stop.
what generation Pokemon is this?
9. That's
Okay, so are these ones
Nine.
are these ones that are actually like can you see those in the manga? Is the manga still going on for Pokemon?
dude, I don't know. But they're gonna release Gen 9 Pokemon cards in a couple days. So, I mean, it's going
Well,
into
there you
that
go.
merchandise. And, like, they're going to do Pokemon the show without Ash now. I don't know if they'll incorporate Gen 9 there. Like I said, I could care less about the majority of the Gen 9 Pokemon because, again, they dumb. So that's number 10.
Yeah, that's gonna be weird. Not seeing Ash and Pikachu as like the main
I
characters.
know, all these years. And now we're going to have a new generation of Pokemon fans who don't know who Ash Ketchum is. And I'm going to be shaking my
Oh.
fist at the sky and be like, you kids and your
No,
new
Ash will be
age Pokemon.
retro.
Oh, retro? Oh my gosh.
Hey, you remember that retro trainer, Ash Ketchum?
Well,
He had that fat Pikachu.
All right.
I
I
don't know
think
where I was going with that.
it's all right. LeRon, number 10 for you.
number 10. All right. So, shout out to Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yes. All
Ghostwire
right.
Tokyo. If anyone has known me over the last 2 years, that 2 and some change years that I've been doing like this whole thing with Boss Rush, you guys know I love stylish games, like games that like have some flair or whatnot in it, and like Ghostwire Tokyo brings that flash and that substance. The game itself, of course, when it released, it had some issues and stuff. Like I feel like that's the thing now. Like we're in a decade now where games just come out like either busted, incomplete, or
Mhm.
or need some polish, and stuff like that. And Ghostwire Tokyo did have some of that going on, but you know what? The game was fun. The game was fun, especially if you're in the first person style games, which I typically tend not to be. Like this is a game that's gonna be nice for you. But like open world for the most part, first person action game. You're running around. You're running around basically a virtual representation of Tokyo, and you got all sorts of crazy ass magic. You're doing the freaking hand kind of thing, like that stuff. What's not to like about it? Yeah, and it's one of the last Bethesda titles that was able to be played across multiple platforms.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I'm looking forward to playing that on Game Pass when it comes in a month or two. When did it come out?
Yeah.
March?
I think
February,
the time.
March?
I think it's March. I think the time's up in March.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to play that when it comes to Game Pass. I actually just downloaded Deathloop as well. Another game that I want to get to, but I haven't gotten to yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited to play that. I heard a lot of good things about it. My number 9 game is Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom or Sparks of Hope.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought this was going to score a little bit higher on my list, but it didn't. I played a lot of it over the break. It's really fun. It's definitely a more polished version of that first one, which I think is like, for some reason, I should be excited that it's better than the first one and polished and has some interesting new things going on, but it just feels like a better version of the first one. And for some reason, I don't know what I was expecting, but that was a little disappointing to me. And I think I wanted. I don't know what I wanted. I thought this was what I wanted. Right? It's the same It's the same problem I have with every Ubisoft game, where like, oh, well, this one's just a more polished version of the last one. I'm excited to jump in, and then you get like 10 hours in, and you're like, oh, I played this game before, you know. And you're like, it's still better than the last one, but I don't know why I'm not as into it as I want to be, you know. But I really like it. I think the Rabbids are cool. I think Rabbid Rosalina is super sassy. I think Rabbid Peach is an idiot. The Rabbids talk this time.
Yeah.
So
Wait. They don't just do that.
No, they actually like talk this time.
Yeah,
And
not like full on sentences, just like a couple of phrases here and there, which is why I was okay with it.
Yeah.
I do love Rabbid Rosalina.
They made the Rabbids endearing again in this, where like you never know where that line is with the Rabbids because they just cross it so fast sometimes that you're like, oh, that's fun. Oh, they're dumb. Go away. But they did a good job with this. Very polished, very good. Luigi's new moves are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically.
I heard he's like MVP this time.
Yeah, he's awesome. Luigi's awesome.
Because I'll be honest with you, his move set was a little lame last game.
Yeah,
but then again, I think that's the brand for Luigi, just lame shit all the time.
Yeah.
Excuse me, he's a superior Mario brother. Don't start.
But I did trade.
He's definitely taller.
I did trade out trade out Mario for Luigi because you can swap your main character this time around, which is nice.
What do you think about playing with Bowser?
It's different, but it's okay. I mean, I don't really care for Bowser. I mean, he's like super powerful, but like he's like really. He takes up a lot of space on the map too, which is weird.
Is my boy playable, Bowser Jr.?
No.
Damn it!
Next time.
Not this time. I feel like he's in one of the DLCs, I think, that's coming. And then Rayman is getting his own DLC in this game. So
really,
yeah, which is not really the way I wanted Rayman to come back, but it's fine.
Yeah, true.
Well, that's my number 9 game.
Nice. Yeah, that's the one that was interchanging between that and Scarlet and Violet. And the reason why I went with Pokemon was because they technically did something different. Where Sparks Hope, I really loved it. I wrote a review on it, but I'm like, well, like you said, it's just a more polished version of the same thing.
Yeah, it's the Ubisoft problem, though, right? It's like their games all feel the same, but they're also like, and at least how I feel is like when an new Assassin's Creed game comes out, I'm like, oh man, great new setting. But then you start playing, and you're like, oh well, this kind of feels like the last one or the one before it, and
yeah,
I feel like I've played this game already. So nothing against this game though. It's great. New levels, new characters, super fun. Recommend it if you're a strategy person.
Yeah. All right. Does that mean I'm up?
Yep.
All right. So next is when I say I'm reaching, like I really want to be inclusive of like indie games, and that's a Memoir Blue. And I almost let that slip for my consideration. So, a Memoir Blue is published by Annapurna. I tend to just keep an extra eye out for Annapurna and Devolver Digital published games. Um, but I wanted to at least mention it because it is a quick game. It is a thoughtful game. It's pretty to look at. It's nice to listen to. But what really made it to my list was kind of the story behind it. Like, I was kind of almost in tears by the end. You follow a young woman who has achieved a lot of awards through, swimming. I don't know if it's like she was in the Olympics or something, but she's a professional swimmer. A lot of accolades, but you kind of play through her memories, and you discover kind of her tumultuous relationship with her mother, which kind of has a lot of like Asian influence, so it kind of hit home for me from like a tiger mom daughter relationship. And so this very humble and short title really digs into the feels with no dialogue. It's really just experiencing different memories, and I felt like that was pretty powerful. So, um trying to recall if it was on Game Pass. I'm pretty sure it
I think it
is.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think it's worth playing through if you want to go through some feels. It is a very lovely game.
Nice.
All right.
LeRon.
Yeah. All right. So number 9 for me. I really did a little bit of battling about this because like I feel like this game like definitely needs some mention. Above some other ones that I had on my list. So I moved this off of the off of a list where I wasn't going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it now. That's a Plague Tale Requiem. You
Mm,
know, the main reason why I'm actually getting at this game is because like this is for the people who actually like story driven games. This is one for you guys. Um, I don't know a lot about the game, but I do know it does follow up from a Plague Tale. And basically like the stripes and struggles of the main characters and stuff like that are brought to center stage because the one thing I do know is the sister. She's doing her best to protect her brother and keep what's left of their family going and stuff like that. And if you just look at the game, like one thing I know for sure is it's a game that you definitely want to play in fidelity mode, so 4K, 30 frames, stuff like that. It's a good looking game. And honestly, it's meant to pull emotion out of you. And there's a few other games on my list as we go through this top 10 that will also be games that like I talk about that are designed to pull emotion out of you. That's kind of my thing. Like I like story just as much as I like action, and combat and stuff like that. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, it's number 9. It's number 9 on my list. Like I said, like I have not played the game, but from what I've heard, and because Stoy talked about it on for a couple of weeks on the Crossroads podcast, and he had me convinced that eventually I will probably play it sometime. You know, so there we go.
nice.
Yeah,
So,
it's a game I wanted to play, and I actually downloaded the first one when they said this game was coming to Game Pass, intending to play it. And then like a week later it was taken off of Game Pass. So
Mm.
my fault, I guess. It was on there for like 2 years, so whoops. But anyway, my next game. Let's see. What game are we on? 8.
8.
My number 8 game, Stephanie,
Wait,
an indie
wait.
game.
What was your refresh my memory? What was your number 9 again?
His
Mario plus
was
Rabbids.
Rabbids.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Uh,
All right. Feels like so long ago when you talked about it.
I know. Stephanie, you'll be happy to know that I actually have 3 indie games on my list.
Ooh.
And this is the first one. Super Perils of Baking is my first indie game from a studio called Lily Mo.
Interesting.
It's
That's all.
It's Lily Mo's. Their first game was called Perils of Baking, and it was just this really simple, basically not even 8-bit side-scrolling platformer. And then they went on to make Hybraxia 2, Twin Breaker, and now they're making Super Perils of Baking, which is a remake of their first game, and it is so fun. It's an ode to Super Mario World, where the whole world is you just are like fighting cookies and cakes and throwing spatulas instead of fireballs, and it's just a really fun, pleasant game, super colorful. If you're into platformers, Stephanie, I think you might actually really like this game. It's only $10. It's available on everything.
Really?
Check it out.
Okay.
It's super fun.
What's it called again?
Super Perils of Baking.
Gotcha. I think I recall you talking about this game before.
Yeah, it came out in like August or September or something.
All right.
So, yeah, one of my 3 indies.
Oh, I can't wait to hear the others. But, speaking of August, I forgot this game, so I want to just quick one more honorable mention, and that's Blossom Tales Minotaur Prince. That's the
First one's
sequel.
awesome.
Yeah, so I haven't played it. Seemed like it got decent scores. I'm sure it's kind of the same issue where it's a good game, but probably still not as good as the first one. But I still want to give it a shout out. Blossom Tales 2, The Minotaur Prince. Anyway.
You can actually buy them in a bundle for $24.99 on Switch if you haven't.
Okay.
First one's really good. It was one of the first games Ed and I ever talked about on Switch on PAL Block.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I got a notice. I'm not sure if it's limited run, but I think someone's going to be publishing.
It's limited run.
Okay. So.
Platonic published it. The ukulele
Okay.
studio is publishing it through limited run.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm going to be keeping my eye out for that. I'll make this one quick. My number 8 was Cult of the Lamb. I know LeRon talked about it. I love Devolver Digital. It's not on like my high up on my top 10 because I haven't played much of it, so there's not much I could speak to it. But I do like kind of just the fact that it just merged like kind of like your action, almost roguelike essence with like management, which is a little unusual. But the main reason why it's on my list is just because the premise is just I don't know, it's kind of up my alley that you're starting a cult. I mean, come on. I mean, it had some people's feathers ruffled up because ooh, it's a cult. It's a devil worshipping game. It's not. It's just really silly and you're talking about sacrificing your people and you're this adorable cuddly lamb with big doll eyes. I don't know, I just find a lot of irony in it and I find games like that brilliant. And I love the art style. It's just for me it's unique and it's quote unquote edgy like as Devolver tends to try to be with their games. So Cult of the Lamb, short and sweet.
Edgy. Yeah, that game.
All right.
It looks funny, to be honest with you.
It is. It just to kind of give you a preview into the EXP Casties, the awards that EXP Cast does. We have to kind of nominate, and I was trying to figure out what would be the most top funniest game, and I haven't made my decision yet. I'm considering Cult of the Lamb because it's actually pretty funny.
Do it.
Yeah. So what's edged onto your number 8, LeRon?
This might be a little controversial. My number 8 game is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge.
No way! Because guess what? That's my number 7.
That's my number 3.
All right, let's talk about it.
All right, so TMNT Shredder's Revenge. Okay, first of all, I'm just going to tell you the 6-player mode. Oh my fucking god! That shit is insane. I don't even know how. I'm one of those people where I can't be invited to an orgy because I go on a sensory overload. And basically, like the 6-player mode in TMNT is basically like a video game version of an orgy because oh my fucking god, like there's so much going on. like I'm trying to pay attention to what I'm doing. I'm paying attention to what everybody else is doing, and I'm kind of like mixing in with their stuff, and it's like, no, I need to be doing my own shit, and
I can understand that because I played with my cousins and it was just a total of 4, so we went with 4, not 6, and even then, sometimes I couldn't even find my character. Like, for a hot minute, I'm like, "What?
exactly,
Oh, wait."
exactly. Good. It's a fun game. God, I love playing with Raphael. Raphael is my favorite Ninja Turtle, and Casey Jones is my favorite character. Even though Splinter surprised the fuck out of me.
Splinter's my
You know,
main. Splinter's my main.
Splinter's a badass. I'm going to say that right now. Like, man, like it's just too much fun, and like Be Still My Beating, like like preteen heart, oh my god, like
Mhm.
it was just fucking amazing.
Yeah, they did a
I enjoyed
great
it.
job with that. I will
They
say
did.
the way the each levels are set up, it's definitely trying to push you to play multiplayer. Like, it was
Yeah,
hard.
for real. Yeah,
Mhm.
You get your ass handed to you if you just play by yourself.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It does not scale when you play. It does not scale now when you play single player.
Mhm.
No, does not.
Yeah, like the
Unfortunately.
game, they wanted to basically give you the experience of like being in the arcade, like getting quarters, like just sucked out of your pockets.
The cool thing though is that you can actually play with randos and not have to talk to them.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's cool. So all right. Well, my number 7 game is where's my list? Is Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes.
Ooh.
It has probably my favorite protagonist in any Fire Emblem game in Shez. She's awesome. I wish this was like I wish there was some sort of quote unquote real Fire Emblem game with her as the main character. Uh, the combat's fun. I'm not a huge Warriors person. I kind of fell off of Age of Calamity pretty fast. But the way they do the Fire Emblem kind of strategy thing really well in this game to make it not feel like it's not make it feel like it's a total Warriors game, but it's still a Warriors game. There's still a lot of frame rate hiccups and a lot of enemies on the screen that kind of just fall over at your whim, right? But I really enjoyed the story. I was really invested because I love Fire Emblem Three Houses so much, and this serves as kind of like it's almost like a parallel slash sequel story because there's stuff that takes place before the events in Three Houses, and then there's stuff that happens after the events of Three Houses. But they very clearly choose almost like a canonical ending
Mm.
from Three Houses that wasn't part it wasn't the ending that I picked, so I was kind of confused at first, but like it's really good. Also not really that long. I think it was only like 15 or 20 hours to beat the entire game.
That's not
So
bad.
great. Shez is awesome. The return, seeing the characters from Three Houses again was awesome. Uh, yeah, if you like Fire Emblem Three Houses, even if you're not a Warriors person, but you're invested in those characters, I would totally pick it up. It's on sale all the time. I think it was like $25 over the holiday break. So yeah,
Nice.
it's my number 7 game.
All
All
right.
right.
I'm going to pass the baton directly to LeRon because my number 7 was TMNT Shredder's Revenge.
Hmm.
Okay, so I wonder. So I wonder what this game is at on your list then, because my number 6. Wait, yeah, my number 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, my number 7. I'm sorry. My number 7 is Stray.
Uh-oh.
Yes, as a matter of fact, when Corey went out there, it was like, well, I got so and so many indies. I had to like look and see how many indies I have, and I don't have a lot of indies, but I do have Stray on there.
That's my
And
number 1.
woo,
Well,
boy,
spoilers.
I kind of figured that, but unfortunately, it's not high up enough on my list to make number 1. But Stray, I mean, what I watched my roommate play this game, and it was the most fascinating, intriguing thing to like watch. As a matter of fact, if you want to watch a playthrough of it, like head over to our partner YouTube channel, me and my roommate's partner YouTube channel, Silicon Syndicate, and you will see the entire playthrough of the Stray game, up to like up into like 4K like resolution and stuff like that. So yeah,
Nice.
uh, it's it's fun. It's cute. It's frustrating at times. Those puzzles are a little nerve wracking to say the least. Like I was sitting there, like, man, I don't know how you figured that shit out because I was just like, oh, like what? How? And the one thing the devs did do is they wanted to make sure that you thought like a cat.
Hmm.
That is the plain and honest truth. Like, but also Stray was one of those games I knew like I had interest in from the very first time I saw that first trailer at the PlayStation 5 event back before the PS5 launched. So yeah, I knew it. I knew this was going to be a game that either I was going to play or I was going to pay a lot of attention to. And Stray was definitely an experience.
Yeah, should I gush about it now or should I gush about it later?
Go ahead and guess about it now.
All right, well, I'll still keep it short and sweet, but again, keep in mind that if I made my top 10 list with games I played and did not play, no, Stray would not be number one. But since I'm basing my top 10 based on only the games that I played, Stray had to be my number one. I know I am very biased because I love cats. I have an orange cat, so I have a strange attachment issues to this game. But to be fair, it is more than just a cat game because yes, internet loves cats. But like you said, LeRon, um, was it B12 Studios actually did a great job creating the experience of being a cat because anyone could just make a
Yeah.
cat game. I played cat games before and it's nothing like this. The dedicated meow button, you get a trophy for meowing a certain amount of times. Um, you have cat behaviors like knocking things over, but you can use that to solve puzzles. Um, and I
It's fucking wild.
it is, and I thought I was a little worried in the beginning, like, oh, am I gonna get bored? Because like you don't really fight back. There's not a lot of your character doesn't really have dialogue, and the storyline is surface level. By the end you find out kind of what happens, but that's it. Like it doesn't get too terribly deep. But I loved the art direction. I really loved the visuals of it. I do enjoy the soundtrack, so I just felt like it was a very well-rounded game for a small studio. So just just love the cat game. I don't know if you could ever reproduce something like that.
Nice. Stray. Man, already have some sort of weird close race between games. I didn't think we're going to have a close race. Uh, anyways, my number 6 game is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion.
Mm.
What? Hang on a second. Let me ask you something real quickly. Like a game that literally came out like practically the last game release week of the year wound up in the top 10 for you.
Yeah.
I gotta hear this. I'm not. And by the way, this is not me ridiculing you or anything. Like I just gotta hear this.
Sure sounds like it, LeRon. That's why we did this the first week of January and not the last week of December.
Well, no. Number one, like I had completely forgotten the game was coming out. Like
Yeah, I mean,
they
that's
didn't
fair.
they didn't really push the game a lot, which is weird for part of this. It's part of the original
Yeah, but
story of Final Fantasy VII.
I think they knew people were going to buy it because it says Final Fantasy VII on the box.
Right?
I'm
Yeah,
going to be 100% honest with you.
yeah.
I bought it, so I got it the day it came out, a couple days after it came out, and I played through like the first couple chapters, and the combat is so fun. It feels more like something like Devil May Cry than like an action RPG. Like just the stylized action, the combos, the way you can kind of shift through the menu on the fly, and it's just awesome. It's one of the best remasters I think I've ever seen. Like the graphical upgrades are awesome from the PSP version because I really like the PSP version. Uh, and like the opening sequence with the train is super cool. It's just like I think like, people love Zach from Final Fantasy VII, and this game kind of shows you his rise through the ranks, right? And I can see why people like him. He's cool. He's got awesome. I mean, he's got a cool sword. I mean, it's super cool. The mission structure is super simple to follow, but really fun. Um, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's probably this game I played the second most on break,
Cool.
aside from
Yes.
God of War. So
Like I actually have the Crisis Core remake. I just haven't really sparked it up yet.
yeah, I so the thing is like the Final Fantasy VII remake integrate version is on the PlayStation Extra tier, PlayStation
Yeah.
Plus Extra tier. And I think I downloaded it, but I'm like, I should probably play Crisis Core first because I kind of want to play them in order. So
Oh, you're one of those.
yeah,
Hmm.
I'm like, I don't want to play this version of the game, like this whatever, and then go back, you know, because obviously like Final Fantasy VII remake looks amazing. The combat looks awesome. The party members look great, and like everything about that game just looks incredible, like cranked up to a 10
Yeah.
graphically and whatever. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna play this remake of this PSP game before I play something that is pretty much made for PS5. So
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
so that was my thinking through the process. But
Nice.
Crisis Core is my number 6 game.
Fabulous. My number 6 is going to be Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Never in my
Ooh.
life have I thought that I would have a Kirby game in my top 10 anything. But Kirby and the Forgotten Land was a very pleasant surprise. It was easy to digest. I really it was actually it's a beautiful game. I know the mouthful mode can be kind of awkward at times. Like I sometimes
Hmm.
will cringe whenever I see Kirby sucking in a
It's always
vending
awkward when
machine.
you have a mouthful.
Exactly. But, I think they did a great job with, little story progression, the worlds, the bosses, everything was very fun. It's probably my favorite Kirby game, which isn't saying a lot because I'm not the biggest fan of Kirby, but of all the Kirby games, it is my favorite. And I do think it was deserving of, was it Best Family Game for the Game Awards? So.
Still doesn't make any sense why it's in that category.
It's the unofficial Nintendo category, I guess. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, that's the way it feels.
you could do co-op though. Like you can have a second player play as one of those I don't know what you call those little things. I see I don't play enough Kirby to really remember, but you can do
Yeah.
co-op. So, um I tried having my son play along with me and he didn't quite get it, so it's okay. But yeah, that's what was it? Are we on 6 now?
Yeah, we're at 6.
Yeah.
And for my number 6, we have The Last of Us Part 1, the remake.
Oh, yeah. All right.
All right. So this is legit. This is legit what I can say about this game. And actually, I have messed around with it some. So it's not even like I'm talking out of my ass here. Like uh I've said this before quite a few times. This game actually looks like it was built to be played on a PS5.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it was built to be played on a PS5, but it looks like an actual PS5 game. So the people who are out there are like, well, we already had a remaster of the game. Why is it out now? Why are they doing it again? I don't really understand what Sony was thinking behind doing this, but except for the fact that maybe they just want to modernize it to be a little more in sync with The Last of Us Part 2 and its play style and stuff like that. Maybe that's it, or maybe there's a Last of Us Part 2 remake coming out. We don't know. But all I can say for sure is if you're looking for a next gen experience for The Last of Us, go no further than The Last of Us Part One remake. I mean, and I'll even make this really simple for you. Like, if you've never played The Last of Us Part One, this is the one you want to get if you own a PS5 or if you own a PC, because it's supposed to be coming out sometime. I think maybe in March on the PC. So this is the one you probably want to play if you are just simply nostalgic about The Last of Us. This is not going to steer you wrong. So yeah, there's that. The game looks gorgeous. I was blown away, with the with a lot of the stuff that I saw in the game. Like, I got nostalgic all over again because I honestly haven't played The Last of Us since I beat it originally on my PS3 run. So
Oh
it
wow.
was great to come back to. And this is from a guy who actually sat down and watched his boyfriend play through The Last of Us. The remastered one, because my PS4 lives at his apartment now.
Okay, so maybe you're at least able to observe the difference because I
Yeah,
heard that what like the enemy AI was also updated.
it was. Yeah,
So I'm looking
yeah,
forward to the
yeah.
challenge. I have
They can be frustrating.
okay. I did get the latest one, part 1, and my what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play it while I watch the show because 'cause I'm one of those people. So I'm gonna break that
Oh,
bad Larry open next week.
okay.
I forgot the show was coming out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 weeks or less.
Um, yeah, I actually got both those games on sale because I'm going to try to get that giant monkey off my back, and play through them because
Did you never play them?
I the first one I couldn't get past the whole like the
The daughter.
beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a really hard time with kids being injured or killed in games. Spoilers, I guess, for the first one, first 10 minutes or so. Uh, and then I played like a little bit after. I couldn't shake it at the time, so like I'm going to do my best at some point to play through both of those. Side tangent though, similar but different. I also now own every Resident Evil game, and I also want to play through those at some point.
Nice.
Will
Yeah,
I? Who knows?
I essentially have every Resident Evil game thanks to a humble bundle that came out a few months ago.
Yeah, that was a good deal.
So, all right. Well, my number five, top fives, everybody, top fives.
Mm.
Nothing really to say a lot about this game. Vampire Survivors. I played a ton of Vampire Survivors over break. It's what do they call it? An auto shooting survival game where you just kind of walk around and kill things, like, but your weapon automatically hits enemies, and then after you collect so many gems or coins, you get a menu that says, "Hey, add to your arsenal" or whatever, and then uh, you can have like throwing axes or whips or holy water or Bibles or chains or whatever, and you just try to survive as long as you can in this mob of enemies. And it looks like an NES game, but like it's awesome. It's on Game Pass. It's on mobile. It's only $5 if you want to buy it. Like it's just this really stupid time wasting game that's really fun and really addictive, and deserves some praise because it created pretty much a new popular genre, I should say. They need to
Mhm.
work on the name though, because
Yeah.
the genre is
Yeah, new
currently called
popular genre.
ass. Auto scrolling survivor game, survival game. So,
All
Stephanie, what's
right.
your number five? Or yeah, number five.
I'm kicking off my top 5 with Tunic.
Ooh.
I do agree, just opinion wise, that I probably prefer Death's Door over Tunic, but Death's Door was I forgot 2019, 2020. I forget when it came out. But for coming out this year, I still think Tunic is great. It's very beautiful. I love the art style. One of the parts that did frustrate me though, because it's like an isometric view and the way some of the puzzles are set up, your fox can go like behind things and you continue travel behind the environment. So I missed out on a lot of stuff, and I was banging my head against the wall because I couldn't find a way to go over there, but it was because it was hidden behind shit. But with that being said, I was one of those people that immediately recorrected my expectations when people were claiming it was a Zelda-like, 'cause it's really not. I mean, if anything, it was an original Zelda-like, if it had to be attributed to any type of Zelda title. So, because I adjusted my expectations, I did appreciate and enjoy it better, because I feel like the people who went in thinking it was like a more modern Zelda-like, they were gravely disappointed.
Mhm.
Um, Zen vibes, with the music, I did find it personally challenging, but I just felt like it was very unique and, well done, where you're collecting pages of this hand-drawn manual. Um, I did get a bit impatient because I am the modern impatient gamer, but I still feel like quality-wise, I think Tunic really is one of the upper echelon indie games that came out this year.
Nice.
I want a physical copy to come out.
It I think, didn't they not announce one? Was there not a physical coming?
I didn't think
Maybe
so. I
not.
know
Maybe I made that
they
up.
don't tease me.
Ah,
I know the plush is coming out
A
this year.
plushie? Aw.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have something at
Finjico's
PAX.
maybe. Maybe they'll
Finjico
sell
was
them
there
at
last
PAX.
year, and I got a Tunic pin.
I want to go to PAX so
Anyway,
bad.
LeRon, what's your number 5? Whoops.
all right. So I want everybody to just go ahead and just give a nice, wonderful slow clap for the studio slow clap because Sifu is my number 5 game.
Yeah!
Yeah. I love this game when I saw the very first trailer. I love the premise of it. It's basically a beat 'em up game with a twist because like basically it's a roguelike, and also the fact that like every time you fail, like the twist is you you start running out of chances to actually get the game beat and stuff like that. It's
Hmm.
fun. It's crazy. I like it. It's set in modern day China where players, like control. He, I, if I'm not mistaken, he was the child of like the Sifu, right?
I think so. Yep.
Okay, yeah, yeah. And then like through circumstances and stuff like that, he goes on. It's basically a revenge story, and like you're just going through like kicking ass, taking names, chewing bubble gum, and getting fucked up in the process.
And I'm all out of gum.
Dude. So yeah, Sifu is my number 2.
Ooh.
Sifu is a fantastic game. I showed you guys like
Oh no.
what I got from Play Asia, right? Like I got a
Yeah,
statue with the
Mhm.
coins.
yeah. It looks nice.
Talisman things, yeah. But anyway,
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's a fun game. That's I can't say enough about it, and like it's smack dab in the middle of my list because like the next 3 games are going to be some of the heaviest games that we're going to talk about tonight.
which makes sense. I mean, I've explained like why some of these games are higher up on my list. And I put Sifu at number 2 for me because I normally don't like beat 'em ups. It is, there's genres we like and genres we don't. Like I don't like card-based games. I don't like roguelikes. I don't like first-person shooters. Like there's certain things I don't like. I also don't like beat 'em ups. So for a game to be in a genre that I generally do not like and make me like the game, I feel like that is an achievement on the developer. I
For
believe
real.
yeah, it's, I keep saying, like, how great games look. I love the art style of it. The 3rd level, the museum, as much as the boss was very challenging, I love going through the museum and looking and exploring the environment. Who can say that about a beat 'em up game? You learn different
Hmm.
martial arts styles and skills. I took martial arts, as a kid. So, like, again, a little bit of bias, like, I'm into martial arts. Asian roots, like, I'm just so excited, and it's next to, like, Ghost of Tsushima maybe, and maybe Red Dead 2, like, some of those aesthetic and God of War aesthetically gorgeous games, I did a lot of photo mode of Sifu. Just, like,
Oh,
do
really?
take because of the takedown shots and stuff, and I think there was a fall update that happened where you could kinda make your own, like, martial arts movie or whatever clip of, like, some of your more like, some of the cool takedowns, you can record them, so to speak, so,
Uh,
but yeah, it's a great game. And like you said, the premise of you die, you age, you get stronger, but you have less health. Ugh, love it.
I'm not the biggest fan of roguelikes. I mean, some roguelikes I like better than others. Roguelikes are not just a thing that I like to run to and stuff like that. But games that have like a really fun premise of like live, die, repeat. I get that. I enjoyed Hades. There's another game that I was playing the living hell out of on the Switch before what game came out. Well, it doesn't matter. Like Monster Hunter kind of derails everything I play anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, I tell you what, Corey, talk about your next game, and I'll figure out what that game was.
And before you go,
Okay.
Corey, real quick, I just want to say one more thing, just because I love it so much. Um, you get a different ending if you spare the bosses instead of killing them. And I just thought that was
I was not aware of that.
so it's a cool like teaching, like, oh, revenge is that the best thing? Question mark. Okay, I'm done. Your turn, Corey. Go.
The game is called Foregone.
Foregone.
Oh yeah, I downloaded that on Switch at some point.
Yeah, like it's so fun, and it's not uber frustrating. For a roguelike, it's not uber frustrating. It's definitely not as frustrating as like Katana Zero or Dead Cells, which Dead Cells is also an amazing game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My number my number 4 game is Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Yeah, buddy.
Game's awesome. It's so fun.
Explain yourself. Explain yourself.
Yeah, I'm just
You've already explained. You've already explained. I know.
I did. It's just I don't really care at all really about, those types of farming games or life sim games or whatever. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just like, but I do like checklist games, and this game does have a very big checklist.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I got really into it, and I really like it. And yeah, I mean, I talked about it at the top of the show, so I'm not going to say much more about it. But that's my number 4. That's my number 4 game. I'm obsessed with it. I'm like, it's bothering me that I haven't played it yet today. Like, it's one of those games.
Dang.
Like, after
Hey, you
we're
know
done
what?
recording, I might play it for like a half hour.
Dang.
You do you,
Yeah.
man. Like when Dreamlight Valley came out, a lot of like video game Facebook groups were posting like what they were doing in Dreamlight Valley. So I mean,
Yeah.
okay,
I blame it on Grayson. He brought it up to me at one
Grayson.
point. Well, I think he wrote the guide on it for Game Rant. And
But then again, you guys, you Disney nerds are just in another class.
hey, don't hate, man. Don't be jealous.
I'm not hating, and I'm sure as hell not jealous. Mm-mm.
Oh
No,
man.
no.
Anyway,
Anyway,
remember when
Stephanie.
I said Pokemon was gonna appear on my list twice?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's that
Arceus.
time.
Arceus. Arceus, I put higher than Scarlet and Violet because I was pleasantly surprised of the take on Pokemon that Arceus did, and I actually like it a lot better than Scarlet and Violet. Um, yeah, I'm trying to recall because it came out way back in this time last year, just about because you're more about discovering Pokemon and it's not just fighting, earning badges, which actually is fun. But here you're trying to create that Pokedex, and by doing different things, you want to catch Pokemon, you want to beat them, you want to feed them, you want to see what they do and observe. It was actually quite a treat. And I think Corey mentioned Arceus and Pow Block this week.
I did. I
Um,
played it with my nephew over the break because he's really into Pokemon, and he doesn't have a Pokemon game. He just has Pokemon cards. And
mhm.
so I played it. I played it with him, and he loves it. He's just totally obsessed with it. So
Yeah,
it was
and they
cool.
do like a couple things that I know it's minor, but like things that I almost like immediately noticed when I played Scarlet and Violet, the mainline games. Like in Arceus, you can walk around while the fight is happening. Like if you're battling another Pokemon, for example. I don't know. It's just like small things like that that are these minor lifestyle changes that I still feel like would make a difference if they would actually apply it to their mainline stuff. So.
Yeah.
Was the game developed by the same studio?
Yeah.
The same studio
Yeah.
did Pokemon, like, okay.
Yeah.
So what the hell?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't
But
know. That game should have waited. Arceus should have been the holiday game this year, and they should have waited to put out Scarlet and Violet for this year.
agreed. So that's why I want to give Arceus a bit of credit, because it's a decent game. All right, LeRon, you're up.
All right. So it begins. You know what? I have not played this game, so I can't talk a lot about it. Number 4, Elden Ring. The actual game of the year winner,
Oh
for the
man,
most
LeRon,
part.
now we're gonna get horrible ratings on Apple Podcasts because we did not
Yeah, didn't you
make
already
Elden
see
Ring
that
a
one
winner.
terrible review we got because we said we didn't understand why people liked Elden Ring because we didn't play it, even
Oh my
though
gosh.
Dan from Dinosaur Machines was on it and literally said that he played it.
Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, look,
Gosh,
you know what? I'm not gonna say anything to, like, basically inflame, like, the fans and stuff like that.
you are
There's a
inflaming the
reason.
fans.
There's a reason why. There's a reason why. Like if you guys have been listening, like, I'm talking to the listeners now, not you guys, because you guys know who I am here on the Boss Rush podcast.
Who are you?
But for listeners out there, like, if there's one thing about me, I can respect a really good game. But just because I respect the game doesn't mean I always fall in line for everybody else, because I have my own thoughts, views, and opinions about games and stuff like that. And here it is. Like, I don't know if I'll ever play Elden Ring, but I know this: like, the pedigree of the studio that created and did Elden Ring, along with the fan base, that is in these types of games and stuff like that, I can't help but respect it. Like, there's no bad reviews out there. Nobody's critical of how the game plays or how the story winds up and things like that. It's just one of those games that it feels like, to the credit of all the reviewers and all the people who talk about it in the community, feels like a perfect game. Feels like a perfect game that I will never play, because guess what? I don't like playing games where I want to go out and kick puppies and punch babies, for as in reaction, and stuff like that. If I want to put myself through this, I will play Mega Man 1 or Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I will do that,
Ooh.
uh, and
Sounds like
that's
an
and
Ed
that's
comic.
and that's how it is. That being said, though, this game is graphically superior. It has a very good play mechanic, and I'm talking about the actual play mechanic, and not just the whole thing of, like, when you die, you're fucked, and stuff like that. It looks wonderful. I'm sure it plays wonderful, and I can definitely respect it, just like the community has respected it. That's why it's number 4. It's a game I will never play unless it shows up on PlayStation Plus or Game Pass.
I played it for a smidge, and I mean, it's not bad. It's an open world Dark Souls game, just like we kind of thought it was, and
Right.
people ate it up. So,
Mhm.
all right. Well, my number 3.
Actually, let me just say one thing. As good and as popular as Elden Ring is, it's still a niche game. It's a niche game in a niche genre. Because guess what? These games don't sell trillions of copies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Elden Ring has probably sold the most copies out of all the copies that are similar to it. But Elden Ring, the Demon Souls games, they're never going to put up Call of Duty numbers. Hell, they're never going to put up Monster Hunter numbers. They're never going to put up Street Fighter numbers. They're never going to put up Devil May Cry numbers. They're never going to put up Resident Evil numbers. But that being said, when you put it all into perspective and stuff like that, it moves units. It puts butts in seats and stuff like that. It turns consoles on. It keeps somebody's lights going. At dark 30 in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah, it was on my lower honorable mentions list, but got other games that I preferred. So, my number 3
Like
game was Ninja Turtles. So, Stephanie, it's your turn.
number 3. Ooh, okay. Legend of Tian Ding. which for me is I call underrated because obviously like I don't really hear the community talking about it that much, honestly. But it made my number 3, again supporting indie. I'm a big promoter of just when I say like culturally aware games, it is based off of a Taiwanese folklore of a kind of like a Taiwanese version of Robin Hood, essentially. We've got this kind of dashing, mischievous man called Tian Ding who steals from the rich to rob the poor. It takes place in Taiwan when the Japanese had taken over it and they were oppressing the Taiwanese people. It is done out. The story is told like comic book style, which again is gorgeous, creative. It is like a little bit of everything. You do a little bit of platforming, a little bit of beat 'em up, but they do it in a nice, a cohesive enough way. Um, the boss fights are fun, and again with like how I love just cultural stuff is a lot of your collectibles and things are all these like the types of food people actually eat in Taiwan, and the collectibles again are things again you find in Taiwan, and also the language when there are some little bit of voice acting, it is in Taiwanese with subtitles, and then when a Japanese character speaks, it's in Japanese.
That's pretty sick.
Wow.
I was like, not that I know what they're saying, but like I can differentiate like Taiwanese and Japanese, and I'm like, that is amazing, and I think that is such respect and pay attention to detail that I want to give them credit for. But it's not number 3 just because of that. I do think it's an extremely solid game. It is very fun, smooth as butter, and just very enjoyable.
Is that? I think that's on Game Pass, right?
It might be now.
I think
I
so.
I purchased it on
Yeah.
Steam.
I believe. Yeah,
It might have recently been added. So
I believe it is. I'm looking right now. Let's see. Truck to Yummy. Go ahead. Who?
It's
that's
Corey, you're next, right?
well, LeRon,
No,
you're
it's you,
next.
Lauren.
Oh, I'm next.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm next. Okay. All right. This number placement is going to be really. This number placement is going to be really. Look at that cutie.
It's like
Look at that
Spray's
cutie.
number 1. Sorry.
This is going to be controversial too. Number 4 on my. I'm sorry. Number 3 on my list. God of War Ragnarok.
Mm.
I guarantee you, there are people that's going to want to fight me in the street. Like it should have been number 1 or it should have been higher.
Well, I had it number 10, Lauren. So they're going to fight.
I think the Elden Ring people will get to you first.
They're going to kick your ass first, Corey.
That's fine.
And then they're going to come find me.
That's fine.
Well, it's already been talked about, and like I did throw some spoilers out there and stuff. Spoilers for the previous game. But God of War Ragnarok, it finishes the story, and what more can we ask for? Some things are not always promised to us. I'm looking at the Dead Space 4 game. So the fact that Santa Monica Studio was like, "Hey, let's go ahead and wrap this shit up right now, and not draw this shit out."
Yeah.
Kudos.
Yeah. God of War. It's a good one.
And I will say this. Everybody loves Kratos, but every single support character in the game just made the game fucking wonderful. Wonderful. From Mimir to Tyr to Atreus. Unfortunately, I know he's still not everybody's cup of tea.
God, Atreus sucks. I
hope he does. Freya. All the support characters. In my opinion, like I was basically playing the game just to hear their inputs.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
nice. My number 2 game. I knew as soon as I started this game it was going to be close, and if I would have finished it, it would have been my game of the year, probably. Horizon Forbidden West. The gameplay is awesome. The monsters are awesome. Aloy fucking rules. Okay.
This is your number 2?
Yeah.
Because this is my number 2.
No way.
Oh my gosh.
Keep going.
It's the environments are beautiful. The side characters are awesome. The animations are the best I've ever seen in a video game. It is the most beautiful open world game I've ever seen. I love fighting the fighting the robot dinosaurs and monsters and whatever, finding their weak spots, learning about the West, going west. Lance Reddick's character Silas is awesome. This game is just everything I wanted the sequel to be and more. And I so I do know what happens at the end because I listened to a couple spoiler casts when I didn't have a PlayStation, because I just do that. And I just, man, this game, I know it's going to go weird places, and I'm all for it. I'm here for the ride. I'm excited for the multiplayer game that's coming that is supposedly a Monster Hunter style game.
Wild
Horizon
Hearts?
basically.
What?
Is it Wild Hearts or something?
No, it's a Horizon.
A Horizon game. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Horizon basically is a Monster Hunter game.
I know, but they're making a multiplayer version of it.
Oh yeah.
And which I'm excited for. And man, this game is so beautiful and awesome. And I really hate that I had to put it down to finish God of War. Because like I said at the top of the show, if I don't finish if I play this, and I'm not going back to God of War, I'm just not.
The sad part is it's like the Horizon curse. Like that Horizon always comes out like and then all of a sudden it gets ran over by the next game that releases.
Yeah.
I know.
I do believe it got the shit end of the stick, because out of the big three that they were memorable mentions because I didn't play, based off of all that I've seen, heard, read, if I were to rank the three for me, Horizon actually would be my number one, probably by God of War, Ragnarok, and then Elden Ring. Again, we probably just dropped yet another whole star on our ratings here, but I'm just saying, like, I feel that Horizon just got unlucky with other games that have been released around its time, but it seems to be just a top tier game.
I said this for PlayStation 4, and I don't think it's a stretch for me, at least. I think Horizon is PlayStation's best franchise right now. At least for me. Like I think Guerrilla is doing
that. As
awesome.
far as like a fresh IP, yeah, I can see that.
No, I mean, as far as anything they've put out recently at all, I think Horizon, for me, is my favorite PlayStation IP right now. So
nice.
Anyways, Stephanie,
I can make this easy. Sifu is my number 2.
Oh, there we go. All right, so it's time for number 1.
Yeah, and I know my number 1 is not on any of your lists, so I'll keep it short and sweet.
I'm pretty sure my number 1 is not on either one of y'all's lists.
Destiny 2: The Witch Queen is my number 1 game for the year.
Nice.
It had the best campaign Bungie has done since Halo 3. It has great mechanics, a seasonal structure. I know a lot of hardcore players are kind of tired of the seasonal structure, but it's had the best stories in the seasonal structure that the game has had probably ever. The weapon crafting could use a little work, but it's an interesting idea. A lot of cool ideas, a lot of story setup. There's only 8 more seasons left in Destiny 2 at this point, between Lightfall and the final shape, and this season is really setting up for Lightfall, and I was really invested in this game this year, and I still play it 2 or 3 times a week. I just think that this is the best Destiny's in the best place it's been ever, and I'm excited to see where it goes next.
See, I feel like Lightfall is my jumping on point for Destiny. I just bought like the whatever that bundle was that was on sale for like $40,
Yeah.
That basically gave you everything that you could possibly need to get into Destiny. And I haven't turned it on yet, but I feel like Lightfall is honestly what I'm waiting for, because like I just hear you guys talking about like you can't wait for Lightfall and all this stuff, and I'm like, you know what? If they can't wait for Lightfall, then I can surely wait for Lightfall.
I I'll play with you, LeRon.
Yeah, because it's crossplay, right?
Yeah, it
Because I
is.
bought it on PC.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, like get ready.
I need to run my warlock through the campaign so I can run with you. You have
Well,
to
I tell you what, as we get closer to the doesn't that screwball thing where like the end of each season, everybody resets?
Not really.
Or is
Everybody
this
who's
like your
never
light
played, they
level
bump
reset
up to the
or
current
something?
light level, but it's not like no, I don't think. I think you
Okay.
should start playing
Okay.
now. Because
Okay.
even if you get bumped, you're not going to know the mechanics.
Mhm.
And you're going to need to know the mechanics.
Okay. All right.
So
I will have to ease into it.
you can join our Discord. Oh wait, you're
All
in
right.
you're in the Destiny Discord.
I am. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Gamers, it's time to talk about my number one.
Well,
My number
wait,
one
what was
is
Stephanie?
not.
Who's
Wait,
Stray?
really? I thought
Oh,
that was
Stray.
behind. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. I was like, huh?
I forgot. I forgot already.
It's okay. I can always talk about Stray again, right, Paxel?
You know what? It's number one. So go ahead, like throw some more words at it.
Oh no, I've already talked it to death. It's okay.
You sure have. You talked it to death all year. Just like I've talked this game to death all year. That game is Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak.
Yeah.
Oh, did that come out this year?
Yes.
Gosh, it was
Yes,
so
it
long
did.
ago.
It came out in June. It came out in June, like a week after my birthday.
Oh man, I forgot that game came out this year.
Yeah, well, it's because people typically just call it Monster Hunter Rise or just Monster Hunter, and Monster Hunter Rise itself has been out for nearly 2 years now. So there's that.
Yeah.
But Sunbreak, let's just say this. When I first saw Monster Hunter Rise, when I first saw them, I was like, okay, I'm gonna play it, but I don't feel like I'm that excited because like I felt like they could never get better than World. And I'm not saying Rise is better than World, but Rise has its own personality and its own quirks. And I was here for it as soon as I started playing it and stuff like that. I've already paid for the game twice, and Andre and Stoy have convinced me to download it on PS5 when it comes out this month on PlayStation Plus and
Oh,
Game
shit.
Pass, and I will.
Is it
And
coming to
as much as I
PlayStation
do
Plus
not,
too?
yeah, as much as
Wow.
I do not want to play and start over from the beginning, you know what? Maybe it's another challenge for me because it was a challenge for me to do it when the PC version came out. And
You
Capcom,
need to talk to Capcom.
yeah,
You know what game
Capcom,
has cross save? Disney Dreamlight Valley. Just saying.
I can't give you the middle finger because I know it's going to be on YouTube and we'll get a strike. So I can't give you the middle finger. But figuratively speaking, you just got the middle finger.
That's fair.
But yeah,
Probably deserved it.
but no, Capcom, you better be fucking listening to me because like I'm not the only Monster Hunter player that's saying this. Fucking crossplay or cross save. I don't give a damn one or the other, preferably both. But we got to have something here because this is getting ridiculous. Like you guys should have known based off the expectation from Monster Hunter World Iceborne that this is kind of what we wanted. Especially if you're going to keep releasing these games on on two different platforms, being like the PC plus whatever platform you want to run it on. Stuff like that. You guys already, and I think the problem is they already know like Monster Hunter players are going to spend the money, so why are they going to put the effort in? I feel like that,
Lame.
Yeah, lame. True. It truly is. Like like these companies don't seem to think that if they take care of the community is going to take care of them.
Yeah. Honestly, like I would play more Monster Hunter if there was crossplay because I just am not jiving with it on my Steam Deck. And every time I try to pair it with my PlayStation remote controller, it turns on my PlayStation. It's really annoying.
Well,
Wait, why don't you just
aren't the Game
why don't
Pass
you just-
versions?
You have a dock though, right? You have a dock for your Steam Deck, right?
Yes, I do dock it, and I try to
Just hook your controller up through USB.
I did.
Then you won't even have to.
I did,
Okay.
but my PlayStation for some reason turned on this time. I know I did it once with you before, but like, yeah, I won't get into it. But it was annoying.
LeRon, the Game Pass versions are crossplay, right?
Okay, so the Game Pass versions are crossplay with inside the console. So like Xbox One and Xbox Series S and X will all be crossplay.
Oh no,
PlayStation 4 and
PC.
PlayStation 5, no. Well,
I thought
I don't
like
think
maybe
I
the
don't think- I don't-
Microsoft versions would all talk to each other.
I don't think. Okay, see, well, here's the other problem though. Like, even if I download the Game Pass, the PC Game Pass, I don't know if it's coming to PC Game Pass. Even if I download the PC Game Pass version of it, though, I can't import my Steam save,
That's so dumb.
so I'd still be starting over.
So dumb.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So I mean, Corey, if you want to play fucking Monster Hunter with me, like I will download it on Game Pass as well. Like, like shit. Maybe it's time for me to just go ahead and get a 4 terabyte like SSD in my system because in my computer because like it's gasping for air right now. But honestly, Capcom, this is the thing we want. This is the thing we want, and please don't poll us like you did last time, and put in there what's a feature you'd like to see in the upcoming game, and then when we say, "Oh, we want to see crossplay," you're like, "Oh, well, we can't do that." Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. You know better. You've literally had 2 games now to get this shit figured out. So let's go. Monster Hunter 6. Let's do it. And I know there's an announcement for Monster Hunter 6 coming sometime this year. So let's do it. And I'm already going to say this. I'm going to say this up front too. I'm sorry, Nintendo peeps, but Monster Hunter 6 will not be coming to Switch.
Yeah, I didn't think it was. Is that it? Did we do it?
I think we did it.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
We got it done.
You guys talk. So we've been going for 2 hours. Do we want to save our most anticipated games talk for next week?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you guys talk for a minute while I do this math.
Math.
I've been kind of doing it as I went, but now I just got to order everything. So
I have one more honorable mention, Stephanie.
Okay.
Valve and the fucking Steam Deck.
The Steam Deck itself?
Yeah, the Steam Deck itself. Yeah. I mean, there's so many ways I can attack this, but number one, just having another contender for a portable, and not just that, but being able to have like an actual console that like you don't ever have to worry about the stuff that you purchased and stuff, like not being able to be played, stuff like that, like. The next iteration of Steam Deck's going to come out, and you can still play those games because guess what? It's all attached to your Steam library.
Exactly.
I love it. And guess what? There are literally games in my Steam library that have been there for more than 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think that's a big plus, and I'm going to kind of take the credit from Pow Block the other day where, there's obviously a sharp rise in popularity with mobile gaming, but I believe the Steam Deck was successful enough to prove that there's still a market for handheld gaming, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to see what the next iteration is. I probably might not be able to afford the next iteration because I spent it on the first generation, but I definitely have high hopes for its longevity in the future. Great for game preservation, like you said, because again, it launches the software of Steam, so good stuff.
And I haven't even begun to talk about all the other options that you have just for having a Steam Deck. I'm not going to do that because like I don't want the gaming purist to come after me tonight. But it's just way too. I mean, yeah, it's gaudy, like in your hand and stuff like that. But once you figure out like how to work it and things like that,
yeah,
it's like another renaissance of portable gaming.
Exactly.
And the crazy part about it is portable gaming is playing hardcore AAA titles.
Exactly. Like the only time I've ever really had issues, it's really just more because it's a new device and it's mostly surrounding by like multiplayer and whether or not the game is compatible with the deck, which I don't think speaks to its power because when I play a game that demands a lot of it, it runs smoothly and it's beautiful and I rarely see it chugging. Like it performs well as long as the game itself is compatible with the Steam Deck.
Chugga.
So yes, I'm glad you brought that up because I think that Valve
Yeah.
made a splash this year, and I'm glad they.
And you know what? And you know what? If anything, it was a fucking brand new console. You know?
Yeah.
When's the last time? When's the last time we had a brand new fucking console from a company that is not the big three?
Right. Hey,
And I'm not talking about all those little. I'm not talking about all those little rinky-dink emulation
Stadia
devices that
came
are out
out
there.
2 years ago, sir.
and where's that now?
Cloud is, not, in my opinion, Cloud is not a
die
console.
for 2 more weeks.
But what's that? I actually saw an advertisement recently. What's the a recent handheld that came out? Was it Logitech?
Oh, it's the cloud gaming one that Microsoft was promoting for cloud gaming. The
Right, but is it by
one.
Logitech?
Uh-huh.
I'm not as.
also-
See, I don't. Oh, go ahead. We're doing it. We're doing that thing.
I know.
okay,
There's also one that what's it called? I think it's either by Asus or something. It's like a handheld kind of Steam Deck competitor, but it's not. It doesn't.
But it's
It's not
also
nearly
just
as
cloud.
powerful. No, it's physical. It's
Mhm.
digital download, but it's I don't know. Gathalion was talking about it.
Okay.
Streamer. He's a streamer. If you guys don't know, he's like one of the OG Twitch streamers, and one of those people who got like $30 million from Mixer, and then they gave him a boatload of money to go away because when they shut it down. So,
I'm gonna pull Mariah Carey. I don't know her.
it's a guy. So Jake from Steak Farm.
You know what I mean? I'm talking. I'm doing the meme.
I know,
Come on,
I'm
dude.
just kidding. I have our list, by the way.
All right, do it.
Oh, okay. You tallied up.
Should be interesting.
10-1. Who's ready for this?
I'm ready.
Who's ready for this? Coming in at number 10, we have Pokemon Legends Arceus. Number 9, Disney Dreamlight Valley. Number 8, Elden Ring. Number 7, Tanding. Number 6, God of War Ragnarok. Number 5, Destiny 2 the Witch Queen. Number 4, Stray. Number 3, Sifu. Number 2, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. And number 1 is Horizon Forbidden West.
Man, people are.
Hey! At least Horizon Forbidden West won Game of the Year somewhere.
Yep.
Wait, hold on. Digital Foundry gave it number 1 too.
Yeah.
See?
We're basically Digital Foundry, everybody.
Yeah. But I mean, like, for the rest of the standings, I'm pretty sure we just pissed off the majority of the online gamers.
Good.
I can hear they're getting all foamy mouth right now.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a really good list and has like a lot of different interests on it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, I think this is a great list. Also, 11 and 12 were Vampire Survivors and Tunic, by the way, in case anybody wanted to know or care. But yeah, this was a great list. Love it.
I love it. And I'm looking forward to doing the same thing next year and also next week when we talk about most anticipated.
Yeah, I'm excited for most anticipated. This
for real.
Thought, but that's okay. Just to read the list again. 1, Horizon Forbidden West. 2, Shredder's Revenge. 3, Sifu. 4, Stray. 5, Destiny 2 the Witch Queen. 6, God of War Ragnarok. 7, Tanding. 8, Elden Ring. 9, Disney Dreamlight Valley. And 10, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Technically Disney Dreamlight Valley and Pokemon tied, but that's okay.
Oh, I see. Your bias pushed it up a notch. Okay.
I mean, I could say they tied, and then
oh, it's all right.
10 two-way tie would be Tunic and Vampire Survivor. We could do that.
No,
because they also tied.
Whatever, I'm good. I mean, like, I'm not such a. I won't die on any hill for Pokemon Arceus. Great game, but I'm not going to die on any hill for it.
All right. Well, that's it. We're done.
That's it, and we're back. Looking forward to a fabulous year with y'all.
It's gonna be a good one. So
yes.
FYI, everybody, we pre-recorded our outros now. So I'm going to say thank you guys for watching this episode of the Boss Rush Podcast. We could not do it without your listenership. Thank you, LeRon. Thank you, Stephanie, for your time tonight. This was really fun. I'm looking forward to a great 2023. Thank you, Paxel, as you look angry. I can't tell.
She's poing.
She looks so cute.
You can follow the Boss Rush Podcast at Boss Rush Podcast. Check out bossrush.net. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/bossrushmedia. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Good night.
So long.
Farewell.
The Boss Rush Podcast is a product of Boss Rush Media, LLC, and is recorded from our headquarters in Akron, Ohio. This show is produced, written, and directed by me, Corey Dirrig. My co-hosts are Stephanie Klimov, LeRon Dawkins, and Edward Varnell. You can find Stephanie at Klimov_author on Twitter and Instagram, as well as on the EXPcast. You can find LeRon at Exodus803 on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube, and also on Crossroads, the video game podcast. You can find Edward at ThatRetroCode on Twitter and Instagram, as well as hosting Nintendo Power Block. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at IamCoreyInHD, and find me hosting Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast, and co-hosting Nintendo Power Block. Find the Boss Rush Podcast on all social media platforms at Boss Rush Podcast. You can also follow Boss Rush Media and Boss Rush Network on all major social media platforms. Join the Boss Rush Network Discord and Facebook groups to interact with other friends and fans. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.